You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get to our first discussion of the day. The number of kidnappings and deaths being recorded across Nigeria is rising speedily, with more people added to that list. The roads have become unsafe for people traveling, a troubling trend for a country that greatly relies on road transportation. One of the latest victims of the unwarranted killings in the southeast is that of a retired officer and his wife, whose lives were cut short on the way to Imo State for their traditional wedding when they were attacked by unknown gunmen. Putting an end to the country's insecurity challenge appears like a Herculean task with no end in sight. Joining me in the studio is security consultant Dixon Osaje, and we have been talking about security for a long time, but it's good to have you join us in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, talking about security in some quarters now looks like a cliche where, we've gone over this over and over and over again. The same things that we complain about, same things Nigerians draw attention to, they happen again and again, even when the government is saying, don't worry, we're on top of the issue, we're handling it, it will never happen again, and things like that. Just yesterday, the president, 2 days ago for the Salah message, the president assured Nigerians that there's end in sight for terrorism and all insecurity, as the case may be. Here we are on this, talking about the issues in Imo State.
Yeah, Mike, we've been having promises from our leaders. The president gave us this promise when he came into power, before he rose into power, and on that basis, Nigeria voted for him because we needed a leader that will come and stabilize the state of insecurity in Nigeria. We needed a leader that will come and nip the threat on the board, and Nigerians believe in him because he was once an army general, and coming back in the civilian space, I would believe that as a one-time general, he's going to deliver. Well, he has tried his best. 7 years now, and the state of insecurity is on the high rise. Because if you want to go into security metrics, you observe that, in the area of insurgency, I will give it to the president, because before he came into power, a lot of our local governments were in the hands of this Boko Haram and with terrorists. Yeah, and we've taken most of those territories back. But right now, what is happening in Nigeria is a multi-dimensional security threat. From the east, west, south, and north, we are being faced with security threats. Go to the southeast, suffering from kidnapping. Go to the north, terrorism. It seems each region with its own security tactics, insecurity tactics. Now, going by what transpired in Imo State, it's really despicable because I'm just trying to, balance the situation. And for me, I think those two officers that were beheaded by these unknown gunmen, the man himself on that audio, identified himself as unknown gunmen. So that name has been acquired. They've acquired that name because, the media space, we're identifying them, naming them, or calling them unknown gunmen because our security agents have failed to identify who this guy is. And the guy in the phone as well said that they are not ESN, they are not IPOP. They are unknown gunmen. That means they are unidentifiable. And they also beheaded one of their own. The lady is from Imo State in Kwara local government. And if you say you're fighting for the survival of your state or for the emancipation of your people, and you kill a soldier who put her life on the line to serve this nation, after that, you dismembered both of them, beheaded her and the husband-to-be. It's an act of animal behavior, and it's a retaliatory offense. The Nigerian army must retaliate that offense. It must not be let go or swept under the carpet.
All right. Now, what do you make? Because I know that a lot of you in the security space will be reading between the lines of what is going on.
Okay.
Now, when some of these people do whatever they do, IPOB will say, they are not our members. We're not the ones who did that. The ESN will say, well, we don't know. If we take IPOB out of the the picture and the ESN out of the picture, and we're talking of unknown gunmen, what kind of a threat or a mix or metrics of insecurity is that? What would these unknown gunmen, what would they be looking for? Because all we know, the agitation in the southeast generally All we know is IPOB and maybe the security network ESN.
Yes, Mr. Mike, I think there was an error by the state, by our government initially. Sometimes I've always said you don't project military in any given situation. The reason why we have arrived at the stage of insecurity in the Southeast is because of the mismanagement of our Nigerian military. Because when this incident sprang up, these guys came out with a billboard. They were protesting, and the situation was not well managed, and now it has escalated. And that's why the use of force must always be the last resort in any given situation. You need to apply stage 1, use of force, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, before you bring in the military. The military are not meant to just appear. For example, maybe you find out that some area boys are fighting in Mushi, you project the military. Husband and wife are fighting in the street, you project the military. It's not done anywhere in the world. The military is always the last resort. Where the police has failed, the mobile police have failed, all other security agents have failed, then you bring in the military. And I must tell you the truth, the Nigerian army are not meant to come and romance you in a state of insecurity or in a state of unrest. They are there to decimate, eliminate, and clear everybody out from that situation. So we must be very mindful in projecting our military in any given situation. I'm trying to look at the causative factors, the root cause analysis, why we have arrived at the state of insecurity in this Southeast. Now, going by the unknown gunmen, what do they want? They say they need Biafra. And now these unknown gunmen, I think they are a group of criminals, because you need to tell us who you are. Because if you don't identify yourself with the Nigerian government or the Nigerian state, then you are a criminal. Then your purpose is defeated. But if you don't identify yourself, you are operating illegally and telling us that you are unknown gunmen, then your people are not safe. The people of the South must not trust these guys. They are criminals. They are terrorists, because the act that was perpetrated against these 2 soldiers is an act of terrorism. And so if the unknown gunmen, for example, have a leadership style, or they have someone who have come on board and said, hey, we are the leader of unknown gunmen, then I think they are due for prescription.
But this unknown
gunmen, no.
It's really a very serious issue.
Yeah,
but that's on unknown gunmen and unknown men. Whatever the thing is, at the time, it went on, and on social media, a lot of people made a laugh out of it and so on, because of the way it sounded. But Nigerians, especially Southeasterners, we've spoken to a lot of people.
Okay.
And it looks like these unknown gunmen, we've not been able to arrest anyone to know, okay, the unknown gunmen, they went to operate here and some of them were arrested, So now we are investigating to know that this unknown gunmen, this is who they are, and we have found out, okay, it is this group.
So they are not known.
And they are not. The unknown gunmen remain unknown.
Oh yeah, that's a failure on our intelligence. I think we have a very weak intelligence here in Nigeria. Our intelligence component must be dissolved with immediate alacrity, because a country without an effective counterintelligence and intelligence is treading on the path of failure. Because as it stands, Nigeria is a fragile state, and God forbid we arrive at the stage of failed state. Most people think Nigeria is a failed state. Nigeria is not a failed state. If Nigeria is a failed state, I will not be here talking to you today. I will not be able to even drive down to this studio. So Nigeria is a fragile state, which simply means that at any given time, if the situation is not well managed, it will migrate to a failed state. But for now, what we need to do, we need to start looking at conclusive intelligence and conclusive investigation. We don't have a conclusive investigation process in Nigeria. An incident will happen 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Investigation has been activated. What is the conclusive part of that investigation? Because when you activate an investigation, that investigation must be followed to a conclusive end. And at the end of that investigation, then the administration of criminal justice system comes to play, so that those who commit crime in the Nigerian space will be awarded punishment. But here, investigation is not taken seriously in Nigeria. You just feel that, oh, it has happened. Now, these 2 officers have been beheaded. This after today, tomorrow, next tomorrow on Friday, they are forgotten and gone. So I would not advise the Nigerian army to keep quiet, because we must not be losing our soldiers this way. It's a gruesome murder.
But what would you expect the military to do at a time like this?
Well, what the military needs to do is that, first of all, when I saw the incident, I asked myself, they were on transit, and how were they identified? Were they on uniform? If they were not on uniform, then we need to go into a conclusive we need to activate a comprehensive investigation. Is there a jealous lover Because I saw that lady, she's a very pretty lady, and the senior officer, you know, behold her and say, hey,
the eyes were very...
Yeah, it's a good soldier, you know. And when I saw the picture, I said, wow, master warrant officer. You know, and this master warrant officer has served Nigeria meritoriously. A master warrant officer is a senior non-commissioned officer in the Nigerian army and must be respected. If the Nigerian army allowed this to go away, I tell you for free, the morale of our soldiers will be highly dissipated. You don't kill a soldier and go scot-free. In the early days, I joined the Nigerian army 24 years ago, before my resignation. You don't take out a soldier. If you don't take out a soldier, when you kill a soldier, that community will be decimated. That community will be met with fire and fury. But here we see our soldiers being killed like chicken, being killed like cow. So for me, an investigation has been activated.
Yeah, we remember the situation in Odi and Udi and also Zakibiam in Benue under the former president Obasanjo, when, you know, some soldiers were killed, and then, you know, soldiers came to sweep an entire community and all of that. But one would say, of course, you don't kill a soldier and then, like you said, and then you feel everything is going to be okay. But on the other hand, soldiers should know that, of course, there will be innocent people in this village.
All right, there will be innocent people in this village, and that is why security is everyone's concern. We talk about security is everyone's concern, not everyone's business, because we've been passing that notion around the world that security is everyone's business. It's not everyone's business, it's the business of the professional. Security is not your business. You are a journalist. So security is your concern. You show concern if you care. So security is everyone's concern. In a given society, if you don't give out military, don't give out information to the military that, hey, we are experiencing some kind of funny movement within this our territorial space. Military, can you come on board and see if these guys are good or bad guys? So most of these guys that are staying in this threat-prone environment, they don't give out information to the military. They don't give out information to the police. And so if these guys come, like these two soldiers that were beheaded in a community. People live in that community. Are you with me? So who are the people in this community that have refused to give the Nigerian military information? Who are the people in this community that have refused to give Nigerian police information? When you fail to give the Nigerian police and Nigerian military information about some criminal elements, you are also compromising, and also you'll be among them when retaliation faces occur. So you already talk about Zakibian and Odi, Zakibian was close to my former battalion, not too far from my former battalion. And when that incident transpired, I was still in the army, so we know much about the stories. I think about 19 soldiers and the captain were beheaded in a primary school. We were killed in a gruesome day. And Obasanjo was our chief of, was the CC then, and we have Ogomudi as the chief of army staff. And the military swept in and tried to, you know, take care of the environment. You don't do that in an advanced war. You don't do that. These soldiers are meant to protect the territorial space and the integrity of this country. When you start taking out these soldiers, that means that you are trying to weaken their strength. You are trying to demoralize these soldiers psychologically, physiologically as well. So for me, it's a no-no. The Nigerian army must let the community know that if you don't give us information about some criminal elements in your environment, and these guys keep on killing our soldiers, when we call for retaliation, you might pay the supreme price. So for me, I think our people, the society must start giving out information to the military and the police.
All right. Now, the Southeast is relatively, if you compare the Southeast to, you know, other regions, the Southeast is relatively small in geographical, you know,
design.
And when it comes to understanding and combing the area, I wonder how challenging it will be in order to get to the root of, you know, the unknown gunmen that we often talk about, because they attack and they go. We expect arrests. Arrests are not made in some instance, or maybe they are made and maybe they're not made public. They're arrests and we don't get to hear about them as much as we should. But how challenging would it be to actually get into the ins and outs of all of the areas within the Southeast?
Well, when you look at the ethnography of Nigeria, Nigeria is sitting on 923,000 square kilometers. And we have a lot of government space here in Nigeria. Now, most of these guys perhaps are operating from their government space. Now, as a soldier or as a government, when you observe that some people are carrying out their criminal activities from your governed space. You need to make that governed space ungovernable for those guys. Don't allow them to take solace in that environment. Don't allow them to take rest in that environment. Deny them sleep by day. Deny them sleep by night. Go before the enemy. Security is defeated when an incident has transpired or occurred. So you must continuously go before the enemy. Now, these unknown gunmen are living in the territorial space of Nigeria. They're living in a country, in a space. They're not living in the air. They're living in a land. So how do you get hold of these guys? Continuous intelligence, continuous attack. You need to make them, deny them sleep. Deny them sleep by day and night, like I rightly said, because these guys, they sleep by night and operate by day. Some sleep by day and operate by night. So when you deny them sleep by day, you deny them sleep by night, they'll be very uncomfortable, exhaust their capability. Because what you're experiencing in Nigeria is under the classification of critical threat. We are in a critical threat situation. And when you come under the state of critical threat, then our national security will suffer. Our infrastructure will suffer from the hands of these guys. Because it's really worrisome that every day and now we keep on having bad news. And I think you are getting used to the bad news as a journalist.
It's really terrible. The point is, in fact, someone sometime recently said that those of you who discuss insecurity every day, you guys will need some level of counseling and all of that, because the point there is, putting it really bare.
Yeah.
There are videos and visuals we get sometimes that we can't put on air.
I agree.
Right? Because we're journalists, we need to see
viewers' discretion.
Exactly, viewer discretion. And so, and when you get to see these things on a daily basis, and sometimes it can be very worrying to the mind. But this is just us. Okay. How about those living in the places that we're talking about? For instance, you're talking about Imo State. How about those who are living within the community?
Well,
they sleep and praying, God help me to wake up tomorrow morning. That kind of situation can just be something else. So going forward, generally, because the point there is not just the military. We know the police are very busy. We know the DSS are also very busy. We know all the NSCDC, all of them are all very busy, trying to work together and all of that. But if the average Southeasterner, because we're focusing on in the Southeast right now, what he wants or she wants is to go and sleep and wake up the next day and continue with his or her business. How the metrics, all the things, how it's done by security agents, they don't want to know that.
They are taxpayers.
They are taxpayers. We've paid our taxes, so when we sleep, let us wake up. We've met our own obligation. So you meet your own obligation. But meeting that obligation is quite challenging from the security perspective, because if we see any security threat that happens, it tells us that something is still wrong.
Something is still wrong. Yeah, I agree with you.
So, but if this continue to persist, what do you see in the long run?
I see a failed state. I told you right on that we're in a fragile state right now, and I see a failed state because if this persists, we are going to migrate to a failed state. Just a few weeks ago, Nigeria took Iraq. We are doing so well negatively. We are there. We've been in that position for years now because, like when I was in primary school, I was schooling in the north, and there was a time I came, my father usually get me chicken. Whenever I confess, he buys me chicken. So there was a time I was used to this chicken, and I went up the line and I came fourth. I didn't see chicken. I came third, I didn't see chicken. I came second, I didn't see chicken. My father said, if you don't come first, I will not get you chicken. So I got first. I took first position. What am I trying to say? Whenever you are in a position, the Global Terrorism Index is a point for us to come back home, analyze the problem, carry out a national vulnerability analysis of our borderline area, carry out a security threat analysis of Nigeria, and project mitigation factors. Now, if you go see a doctor, the doctor needs to run an analysis and tell you this is the problem. Then after that diagnosis, then he will prescribe, he will give you a prescription, tell you this is what you're going to take to reduce that threat. But in security, if you don't carry out threat assessment and threat analysis and vulnerability assessment, you can project mitigation factors.
But we understand, we assume the military has all of those. The Nigerian military is a professional, high-standing military officer that can stand anywhere in the world.
Sure.
They go for any mission across the world, they come back with laurels, they come back with medals. So when it comes to the capacity and the professionalism and the mental capacity and profession of the average Nigerian military or soldier or even other security agents, be it police, DSS, is never in doubt. But one still feels something is wrong somewhere.
What's wrong there is that we have it's an act of operational failure, or strategic failure. Because let me take, for example, the police. One of the things Nigerian police suffers here in Nigeria is command negligence and fire discipline. Yesterday in my street, someone was having a party, and I saw some mobile police guys shooting bullets into the sky, Nigerian taxpayers' money. So when we treat command negligence in the Nigerian police, command negligence in the sense that every DPO should be held accountable in the action of his men. Now, most of these are officers and men that win awards in the international competitions because the discipline and command structure is intact. You don't eat a soldier's money. Yeah, we have senior officers taking what belongs to our soldiers. We have senior officers waiting for them to be promoted, they call it quota system or whatever. And we have a lot of generals being defeated by most of these criminal elements. For me, I will advise the ranking of the Nigerian Army as at now to end at colonel, so that we will know that before you put on that general, you must go and make Nigeria a peaceful place. We don't need to start having too much of generals and a lot of threats. It's a shame to us as a country, because the more general, the more threat. Then no, if I become the president of Nigeria, in fact, I can even terminate the ranking as a captain, so that we have people who are ready to do the job and get promoted.
No, but the point there is, if you do that, then you'll be doing a lot of injustice to Nigeria, because on one hand, the operation of the Nigerian army is not just only within the Nigerian space. A lot of Nigerians are involved, Nigerian professionals or military or security agents are involved with other international assignments, helping other countries, helping other intelligence, and all of that. And that should earn them whatever it should earn them.
Well, for me, I think your first call of duty is to protect the territorial integrity of your fatherland. It's still your fatherland. Not another man's land. Your
any other assignment is
secondary.
All right. It's okay. We have to leave you here now. Dixon Osagie, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you, Mike.
And we look forward to, or we hope that the next time we are sitting to talk about these things, it will be, way forward and good news.
Good news. So help us God.
So help us God. Thank you very much.
Thank you.